out. Okay, so we have quite a bit to talk about today, but first I would like to revisit the intervals. Just spend like the first 10 minutes or so. We're gonna go through intervals one more time, and especially in Sibelius, Shane tells me that some of you are wondering how to input notes on top of each other. It's probably a really good thing to know right now, because in the future, when you input chords, that means we're going to stack 3 notes on top of each other, right? So that would be a good thing to have. And let's get started. I'm going to start my Sibelius. And then I'm going to screen share. Whoa. Okay. All right. You guys give me a thumbs up. You can see my screen, basically. Yeah, thank you. All right, so we're gonna start a basic piano score. This is just very, very basic. We're not gonna save this document, so it doesn't really matter. We are going to bring out the keyboard, of course. Always. Okay. So make sure the keyboard you can hear. All right. So what do we do?
Professor,
Huh? Yes?
should we be like doing this along with you on
Oh,
syllabus?
no, 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 no. No, no, no. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'm just demonstrating, but I think some of you might take notes who are having trouble. Okay, so the quickest way to just get notes on top of each other is just to click them in. Click them in. Yeah, like that. You just pick a note from the keypad, and then you just go here, and then we go. And here's a perfect fifth. And I'm gonna make it nice and big for you. All right, we are doing this in treble clef right now. Okay, so I think some of you are having trouble because you guys don't have a MIDI keyboard, so this actually, oh, so your what do you call it? Computer keyboard is corresponding to just the letter names. For example, if I want to input this just with my computer keyboard in non-vertical ways, I would type N for note input, and then I would type F at the bottom, and then I would type the the number 5. This would be a perfect fifth above, and shift 5 would be a perfect fifth, or a 5. In this case, I have to modify it for a perfect fifth. This is how you would in the most medieval way. So none of us are living in medieval times, so don't do this. This is gonna like drive everybody crazy, including myself. Okay, this I think is where you guys are having trouble. There's also this thing right here. So this is called a QWERTY accordi input. So if you click this, then all of the sudden, check it out, you have a 1-octave keyboard that is corresponding to your computer keyboard, okay? So I am typing the letter A, W, S, E, D. Take a look at your keyboard, right? And this is totally legitimate, okay? And then if you want to get ambitious, then you can say note input, right? And then there you go. Then you can type A and G together, the letter A, the letter G, that would give you a perfect fifth,
I
which
tried
is
that one,
together.
Professor. It didn't work. I don't know why. I tried to press them together at the same time, thinking that it will come out. I don't know what I did wrong.
Okay, I'm not sure how to help you. Is this everybody's experience? Because that would be very strange. Does everybody have this problem?
I have a
Instead.
problem with it too, but yeah. But the video kind of helped. Your demonstration kind of helped a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. If one method doesn't work, detour it to another. There's many,
So I was
many
gonna
ways
ask
to
you-
do this.
I was gonna ask you too. Do you accept late work because I didn't turn mine? I'm not done yet. This is a
I
lot
think
for me.
you can.
I'm doing this really slow, but I'm doing it just really slow.
Yeah. I think you can still upload. I'd be surprised if you cannot upload anymore.
No, okay, good. Okay, good. Just making sure. Okay.
All right, cool. So this thing, to be honest, I've never used it. I never feel like I need to use it, but you can click in at any time you want. And so I don't know what this does. Toggle no cord. Yeah, I don't really use it. So you guys can pick and choose, okay? Whichever way you feel more comfortable with. So I would like to quickly move on to intervals that we've been talking about, okay? And the intervals, we always begin with let me just use a very big one. We always begin, you know what, today let's start on a different note, okay? Let's start from G, just for fun, okay? So obviously, this is unison and unison. And next, we just move it up one more. E. Yeah, so just make sure like you see what happened to me as well. For those of you who don't have MIDI keyboards and not using the QWERTY keyboards, you gotta just do right on top of this note. If you go even a little bit to the side, like it thinks it's the next note value. All right. So
yes, I try to do it like that.
Okay, I like I said, I don't know what to tell you. Something about your software or your computer is idiosyncratic. Try another way. If one way doesn't work, try another way. This is pretty basic problem-solving skills that I hope all of you can walk out of college learning. All 4 years of college learning the problem-solving skills. So this would be, it's lit up on the keyboard, and there is 2 semitones, meaning this is a whole step. A whole step is always a major second. And it's a major second. Major second. So major second is a capital letter M. Minor second would be
with an A flat.
Thank you. Perfect. Or, don't mind my speed. This is theoretical practice. Or, right? This is both minor second, and minor second is the small letter M. Minor second. Okay? We keep going. This would be let's move it up to the G because we're doing G today. All right. So this is a perfect fifth. All right. So you see these 2 are lit up. So if you need that, then count, this would be whole, whole, half, and whole. And today we're going to do major scales, which is going to make your interval identification even one step more confirmed. Okay, this is all kind of interconnected. So learning one thing meaning that you are encapsulating it in something else. And then you learn the encapsulation, and then another layer, it's like onions. You know, you just kind of keep going layer by layer. So it's not a linear process. Okay, keep going. Let's do a, can you spell a major third for me? What's the note above G that will give us a major third? I'll take a vote.
Would it be a B?
It would be a B. Yes, thank you. That would be correct. Okay, so let's take a look. It is 2 whole steps. You're correct. So this would be labeled as a major third. And can we make this a minor third, please? What can we do to make it a minor third? Hint is that, oh, if you guys are raising your hands, I'm not seeing it. Hold on, let me just move you guys to my other screen so I can see you. Move B down a half step. Brilliant. Okay. Yes. Or what happens? Or we just move this up a half step, right? You see it here in the keyboard, it's lit up, all right? So on and so forth. And so today, we're going to go through all of the diatonic intervals in the context of the major scale. All right, so this is a reminder of what we did, but right now, I know it's kind of sound very logistic to you, like, oh, what do I do this? Do I have to count, you know, half steps and, you know, whole steps and all, you know, you can try that, you can do that. But no musician does that because this is just some kind of spelling, and the meaning of the spelling is in what you hear, is in the hearing. Okay, it's in that somatic embodiment of what they sound like. Okay, that's why we are practicing this in Sibelius, so that you guys can hear all of these notes and then get a good sense of where these notes sit in your body. These are actually fixed, pretty fixed, more or less, in its frequency. Okay, so your body literally, after a while, it remembers what it feels, what a major second feels like, what a perfect fifth feels like, sound like, feels like, is pretty much the same thing. All right? Okay. I'm gonna pull you guys back to my screen. All right, plans for today. It's gonna be pretty much the same. We'll go through some theoretical stuff about major scale, and then there's a practice video for you, and I'll put the link in the chat. And I'll also post this class on YouTube, so you guys can, you know, digest it in your own time. And I've also noticed that Shane also tells me that some of you, because the video seems like the video is like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, but actually takes a lot longer. to do because you're pausing and you're following the steps. So I'll try to be considerate. We'll just do like an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes today. I'll let you guys go because the next video is about the same length from the previous weeks. Last week was a little bit longer, and then the previous week was about like 35, 40 minutes. It's the same length for this upcoming video as well. Okay, so average, I would say if you could spend about 4 hours per week, this includes, I would say watching the video. This is not including our synchronous meeting time. This is outside of our synchronous meeting time. If you can spend about 4 hours a week on just kind of connecting to the class material, just practice, just play with it, 15 minutes a day would probably add up to that because the video is going to take you about an hour already. And then there is the lecture, you know, if you want to watch the lecture video. And those of you who are near an instrument, oh, good for you. That would be the best thing. And to just play the instrument or pick up an instrument. You know, it's actually very accessible. You can even rent an instrument. And today I'll even introduce you to a app which is $3. I think it's very, very doable. If you don't have an instrument and you're having trouble with, you know, the material, then having an app, there's an app for everything these days. So no worries, okay? We're still early enough in the semester that, oh, look, IK has a keyboard. That's very exciting. Yeah, IK, so yeah, make sure that you have like headphones and like set it to a good MIDI sound and you can play with it.
It's very cheap. It's only $100. But I still have problem with the syllabus. I think I probably failed the class, but it doesn't matter because last semester it's just my elective, kind of stressing out the whole night. But this doesn't work. This doesn't work with the syllabus, the software. So I have problem with homework. This is just but this is cheap.
It should. All the MIDI signals are compatible with Sibelius. So you guys just have to do some tech problem solving. And believe me, when I've had years of tech nightmares where I'm sitting there, you know, like about to cry, okay, and then I'm on a deadline, and this is real professional consequences. Like if I can't finish it, I have no backup. I'm just my own I'm my own shop. I'm a one-woman show. If I can't deliver the sheet music and publish, no one can help me. I couldn't even afford to hire an editor to help me. So the online forum saved my life. Folks were always very consistent and very responsive. So the online forum, that's a really good place to start if you have tech issues. So I am a full subscriber, and believe me, I can't get the tech service to address specific issues I have. So all of these things you guys, some of you guys are experiencing are it's like a real world, real life simulator. Okay, there's no shortcut. It's pretty brutal. And once you're out of school, you're all on your own. And these are good problem solving skills to learn. To be independent, do your own research, brainstorm, and find resources, dig deeper. If still no solution, try another way. And that's basically life. That's life. Okay? Good. All right. So we're going to first watch a video that is designed to confuse you. But then the purpose of this class is to deconfuse you from this video. So bear with me here. And we find the video first. Here we go. All right, this is a pretty short video, but I'll give you a good overall. sense of
Major
what we're doing.
scales. Everything you need to know so you don't fail music class in 7 minutes. A scale is a set of notes that are ordered by pitch. There are many types of scales, but the major scale is one of the most important and is a cornerstone of music theory in the Western classical music tradition. Understanding major scales is crucial to success in tackling theoretical concepts such as intervals, key signatures, triads, tetrads, pentads, hexads, heptads, also known as chords, solfege with movable do, solfege with fixed do, minor scales, bebop scales, pentatonic scales, cadences, chord progressions, the circle of fifths, the circle of fourths, and modes. All of these things and more are better understood through major scales, so let's get started. There are 15 major scales. Although they look very different at first glance, they're all built using the same few simple rules. Let's take a look at the easiest one, C major. Notice that the C major scale has 8 notes. It starts and ends on the same note, in this case C, and every other letter name shows up just once. A, B, C to start and end the scale, D, E, F, and G. These are the first 3 rules which every major scale must follow. Every major scale has 8 notes, the same starting and ending note, and has every other note name once. Let's look at another scale, D major. It too has 8 notes, starts and ends on the same note, and each other letter name shows up only once. E flat major is the same, 8 notes, same note to start and end, and has all the other notes one time. But why do some scales have sharps and some have flats? And how do I know which sharps and flats to use? That has to do with the intervallic relationship between the notes of the scale. Let's take a look at the piano keyboard for a better understanding of what that means. We've already seen what C major looks like on the staff. Here's what it looks like on the piano. It's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Notice that these notes were played, but these notes weren't. They were skipped. It's this pattern of played and skipped notes that make a major scale sound like a major scale. The pattern is defined by a series of tones and semitones between the notes. If you don't remember or are unfamiliar with tones and semitones, a semitone is the smallest interval on the piano. It's the closest note to another note. It's sometimes called a half step. So, C to C sharp is a semitone, and C sharp to D is a semitone, as is D to D sharp and D sharp to E. But what's a semitone above E? It's just the next note on the piano, in this case, F. Of course, all these are semitones as well, as is B to C. A tone is just 2 semitones. It's sometimes called a whole step or a whole tone. So C to D is a tone, and C sharp to D sharp is a tone, as well as D to E. But what about a tone above E? F sharp. That's a semitone from E to F, and a semitone from F to F sharp, and 2 semitones make a tone. Applying the concept of tones and semitones to the notes of C major, we see that from C to D is a tone, and from D to E is a tone, but E to F is only a semitone. Then F to G, G to A, and A to B are all tones, and finally B to C is a semitone. Every major scale follows this pattern of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. That's rule number 4. Let's see how this pattern matches up with the D major scale. D to E is a tone, E to F sharp is a tone, and F sharp to G is a semitone. Then G to A to B, and B to C sharp are all tones, and C sharp to D is a semitone. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. A common test or assignment in music theory is to write out a major scale. Let's say you have to write out A major. First, write out the notes. 8 notes from A to A, and of course, double check your clef. Here, we're in bass clef. Next, write in the interval pattern beneath the notes. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Even if you know it, write it in. It's easy to get lost in the middle and make a mistake without a reference. Then, follow the piano keyboard and add sharps or flats to the notes of the scale as needed. Here, we start on A and go up a tone. That's B natural. Then, up a tone from B is this one. We know that it has to be C sharp and not D flat because otherwise we'd be skipping C. So we add a sharp up here. Now, up a semitone from C sharp is D, and up another tone is E. Up a tone from E is this one, F sharp. So we add a sharp to F. Then, up another tone from F sharp is G sharp, so we add a sharp to G. Finally, we go up a semitone from G sharp and we've landed on A. If you get to the last note and it's the same as the first note, in this case A, you've probably got it right. But if you started on A and somehow ended on A sharp or something else unexpected, you must have made a mistake somewhere along the way and you'll have to go back and correct it. You should know that some of these scales are slightly less intuitive than others. Consider C sharp major. We start off the same way. Write C sharp, then write in all 8 notes. Then, write in the tone-tone-semitone pattern below the notes. Then, start following the pattern on the keyboard. We start on C sharp and go up a tone to D sharp. Then, up another tone to this note, which looks like F, but we know it has to be an E. So, it must be E sharp. Continuing on, up a semitone to F sharp. Up a tone to G sharp. Up a tone to A sharp. Up another tone to this note that looks like C, but it needs to be called B, so we call it B sharp, before finally ending on C sharp. You may be wondering, why E sharp and B sharp? Why not just write F and C? because then the C sharp major scale would look like this. Doesn't that look sort of weird? There's 2 Fs and 2 Cs and there's no E or B. It might sound like a major scale, but it's not the usual way to write it down, and it breaks rule number 3. While we're at it, it's also probably useful to review the term enharmonic equivalent. That's just a fancy term that refers to the fact that some notes have more than one name. They sound the same but are spelled differently on the page. It's easy to see on the piano that this note can be either called F sharp or G flat, and this one could be called G sharp or A flat. In fact, all the black notes have 2 names. Some of the white notes have 2 names too. E and F are sometimes called E sharp and F flat, and B and C are sometimes called B sharp and C flat. What you call them depends on the context. And now for some common questions about major scales. Are there any scales that use a different interval pattern? Sure. The chromatic scale is all semitones. The whole tone scale is all tones. And there's lots of other scales with different patterns, but they aren't major scales. Anything other than tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone is something else. If there's a C sharp and a D flat major, why is there an A flat major but not a G sharp major? That's right, C sharp major and D flat major are enharmonic equivalents. They sound the same on your instrument but are written differently on the page. The thing is, C sharp and D flat follow the rules, but G sharp major can't. Check it out. You start on G sharp and follow the pattern. Everything is fine until you get to this note, which is clearly a G but has to be called F. You'd have no choice but to call it F double sharp, and that's not allowed in major scales. Why? Because that's the secret 5th rule of scales. Every scale has sharp, flat, or natural notes, but no double sharps or double flats. And, because you asked, there are 5 other major scales that don't exist. They all have double sharps or double flats, and they're all ridiculous. What were all those weird chords from the beginning? G major, E major 7, D7 flat 9, C9 sharp 11, and B7 flat 9 sharp 11 flat 13. Is that last one a real chord? Yes. Why did I get the wrong answer? You probably mixed up the interval pattern. A common mistake is to skip the first tone. Let's say you're writing E major. You might say E is a tone, up a tone to F sharp, and then up a semitone to G. But you're already in trouble. Because you haven't gone tone, tone, semitone, you've used tone, semitone. Tone, tone, semitone looks like this. Remember, a tone or semitone is the distance between the notes, not the notes themselves. So how do I write a major scale? Write the note that's the name of the scale, write 7 more notes, 1 on each line and space, write in the interval pattern, and add sharps and flats as necessary. And that's major scales. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Pentads.
And you guys think my videos are fast. I try to slow down as much as I can for you guys. So major scale, we're gonna practice that today, okay? So what the video is missing, because it's a commercial video and it has to have a jumpy soundtrack. So there's some, clickbait, people click and find it pleasant. So what does a major scale sound like? What does it sound like? On the piano, what does it sound like on another instrument? It sounds very different, actually. What it sounds like on the piano is the result of the piano-specific tuning. Okay, and here's where the real world gets really messy. You want to do the theoretical world, it's very sterile. It's just, here's the rules, you follow the rules, and you'll be fine, right? You get out to the real world, ladies and gentlemen, it's messy, okay? The major scale, same major scale, is going to sound one way in the piano, on the piano, and on your Sibelius keyboard. That's more or less very similar. And then a violinist is going to play some of the notes slightly higher because it sounds nicer on the violin. Clarinet player, there are some notes they have to adjust in order to tune into the piano tuning, because the instrument follows all the other instruments that are less, tuned and mechanical than the piano. They still follow the natural harmonics, the overtone series. So it takes a lot of effort for an entire orchestra of musicians to play in tune. That's why a student orchestra, when the students playing 35 different instruments, when they play together, they sound awful. They always sound like they're out of tune. Why is that? It's not that they're playing out of tune. They're just playing the notes that they were taught how to play on their instruments. But once you join a band, you join an ensemble, you join an orchestra, every single instrument has to learn how to play well with others. That means you guys have to agree on what is the best tuning for the orchestra, which is the new instrument. So you're now a small part of the big instrument, right? Yeah. So intonation, it's a very, very big deal. So this is the stuff that people don't really think about when they're listening to music made by acoustic instruments and highly trained musicians. The level of compromise and training and the ear that's required, they often have to hear like a sixth or a quarter tone difference. That's the minimum. And they have to tune that into their team player, their ensemble player. Soloists don't have to worry about this as much. But yeah, real musicians, they're lucky. Every day they wake up and they're like sweating just thinking about intonation. I'm telling you, it's a sort of a Sisyphus life, especially string players. They have no fret. They wake up every day. They just pray, can I have a good day with intonation today? And there's no amount of training that is going to guarantee you good intonation. Ask any violinist. Ask any cellist. So this is something that I want you guys to develop at least some knowledge for, okay? Everything we talk about in this class are theoretically. Theoretically, that is correct. This is all just notation. Once music making happens, every rule flies out of the window. But you still have to notate it correctly. And that's what we're going to learn today in major scale. Okay, so just a quick recap in as slow a speed as I can do. Let's go back to Sibelius. And I will share screen again. And I'm going to put you guys on my other screen so I can still look at you. Nice. Okay, so we are back to this document, which is okay. We can work with this document. Let's start a new line here. Let's go to this line. Okay, so right now, let's just put in a time signature. It's very arbitrary. Let's just say like, I want more. I feel greedy today. I want more. I want like, I don't know, 12 quarter notes. Oh yeah. All right. So now, don't worry, you're not required to do this. This is just for class only. All right. So we are going to first write a C major scale together, just like the video said. Okay. To write a major scale, you can write a major scale on any of the note, pretty much any of the notes. It's very difficult to find a note that actually like don't result in anything, right? So let's start on G, just because we started on G today, okay? So we're going to fill it in with, this is gonna eat up the whole bar very quickly. Let's do half note, yeah? Okay, so we're gonna fill this line space. So first note on the line, second note on the space, line, space. Isn't this luxurious? Can you hear it? Can you hear it? You can actually hear it as you're typing instead of the video. Okay, so for some of you trained ear, there's already a problem. It doesn't sound like a major. Well, of course not, because we haven't really, done anything yet to it, right? So the way I do it, which is actually more cumbersome, is between this note and this note. Okay, so we're talking about, everything we're talking about here is between notes. So this is how I do it. All right, so we need whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. I'll do it one more time. So we need, let's just make it a plain text because I need the text to kind of just float around. Okay, my mouse is acting up. Oh, there we go. Just a regular plain text. Maybe I'll do it in a circle. This doesn't even have a circle text. That sucks. Okay. Okay, so we need whole, all right, whole, half. Whoa, that's big. Huh. Whole, whole, half. Okay, so we need whole tone, half tone, whole, half. So whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step. There you go. So let's see if we are doing it correctly. G to A is a whole step. A to B is a whole step. B to C is a half step. Yay, we're good so far. C to D, whole step. D to E, whole step. E to F. Ah! We have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. What's the problem? I need a fix pretty soon. Come on, class, help me out here. This is supposed to be a whole step. What do I do? And we need to keep this note an F.
Sharp it.
Sharp it. Somebody said sharp. Who is it?
Ryan.
Ryan. Ah, brilliant. All right. So we're going to sharp it. Oh, now let's see. See? That's a whole step. You guys see the keyboard down here, right? And last is a half step, which is correct. This is a half step right here. There it is. We have a G major scale. Label it proudly. We have a G major scale. And what does it sound like? It sounds like yeah? All right. What else? We're gonna do a so this is also only ascending. Okay, so this is you don't have, I mean, it's obvious, you know, and this is a theory class, so it's like, okay, this is an ascending ascending G major, right? I mean, you can also reverse it, which we're gonna do in the bass clef, right? So now you have gotten your, why is this lit up here? All right, let's see, here we go. Okay, now you have your ascending. The descending is exactly the same. So let's find the G first. This is an F clef, reminder, F clef meaning the note in between here is an F. So the G is here. So we're gonna say, here's the G. That's fine, we'll do quarter notes. So same thing, you just reverse it. click it in. So, you can even put it over there. And you can do this. And what does it sound like? Let's just play it for the fun of it. I usually don't do this. I usually just go to my piano, but you guys don't have the piano, so I'm simulating your situation here. Play. Okay, so that's your G major scale. Questions? No questions? You guys already solid on this? I'll take a vote from the chat box. Somebody vote for let's build another major scale together. Based on the starting note. Let's just vote for another note. Something a little more complicated if you want. Feel free to put it in the chat box. I'll start a new stuff. Wow, B major. Somebody is ambitious. So we're gonna start on B. All right, B. Let's go B. B. Yeah, that just sounds completely wrong, right? Right? So, but it's actually supposed to sound like this. But this one sounds like this. It's some kind of scale, but it's not a major scale, okay? We don't discriminate any other scales here. All right, just because major scale is Western music foundation, we're gonna look into this later part of this class, okay? This is like a small little corner of a big mountain of what scales can be, and the concept of the scale is as big as the universe, okay? So let's see. We have, let me just move this down a little bit so it lines up with my keyboard, okay? I can only reach it here. I can't reach another octave higher. So let's hear it. Right now it sounds like this. Major scale sounds like this. All major scales sounds like this. Pick a random note. How about, F sharp? Random note. Don't even have to look. So that's the sound we're going for. You guys ready to be a little more brave? Let's just go with sound. Sound between these two, it has to be. That sounds too close. That's a half step. That's not right. Sharp it. That's not right either. That sounds like a half step. We needed to make it a whole step. Does that sound more like it now, the beginning? Yeah?
Yeah.
a half step, and it's already a half step. Next is a whole step. Thumbs up if you want me to sharp this. F. Yeah. I like this class. Oh, here. Microphone. Come back here. This needs to be a whole step as well. Thumbs up if you want me to sharp it. Yes, thank you. Well, this needs to be a whole step too. So get your thumbs up if you want me to sharp this as well. Yeah, wonderful. Okay. Last is a half step. We're correct. So, that's our B major scale. Yay, congratulations. Okay, so you guys ready to go one step further? I am. So let's count. How many sharps is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 sharps. Ladies and gentlemen, B major has 5 sharps. That's it. Which one is 5 sharp? So now we're going to learn that this is spelled as accidentals. What we have done so far is we are spelling these major scales. Oh, I forgot to label it. So this is B major scale, right? B major scale in accidentals. Accidentals are these temporarily modifiers of a note. Okay? What it does is that it temporarily sharps or flats and modifies that note only in that bar. Next to the next bar, it's no longer effective. Okay? And so there's actually another way. Let me ask you this. If you have to write a composition in B major, and you're living in 19th century, and like you're holding this little quill, okay? Like you're like every note, you know, it's like and then paper is really expensive, ink is really expensive, and you're like a freelance composer like me, you know, you're like trying to make ends meet, pay rent and all that, and you can't really afford, you know, to like spend a lot of money on like expensive music papers and ink. I'm not kidding. Those things were very expensive. What do you do? This is the question composers who notates music have been asking for like 1200 years, right? What do you do to save page space? And so one of the ways you can do it is so that all these sharps, anytime they come back, they are already sharped. So it's a global application, and that is called a key signature. So I'm going to copy this to the next line. All right, we're going to do this, and we're going to copy it to the next line. So right now, we're going to do this B major scale in key signature. Key signature, how do we get it? We type letter K for key signature. Type letter K for key signature. So type K, you have all these key signatures coming down. Select your B major. See, this is what B major look like in key signature. So now you have your cursor blue, turned blue, means it's active. It's ready to, you click anywhere on the paper you want it to be, the location you want it to be, you click it in, voila, there it is. So now every note from this point on until you cancel this key signature, every time there's an F, C, G, D, A, they are sharped. Questions? Well, I'll have a mock question for you guys. Then what if I don't want it sharped? Well, in that case, you just cancel it. This little thing is called natural. So this becomes an A natural. And you can even hear it, what it sounds like. Oh, you first want to hear it without it modified. Okay, so it's... And now let's modify it. And there you are. And that's a whole another scale. It's not a major scale anymore. But it doesn't sound bad, is it? I don't think it sounds bad. In fact, there is a medieval mode that is exactly spelled like this. Okay? All right. So let me cancel this. All right. Any questions? Let me just check the chat box. There are note variations in the beginning of the composition. No. Wait, they sound same 5. Could we use flats as accidental for B major? No, we cannot. But good question. So why don't we do a flat? Why don't we do a flat scale together so you guys have a better sense of how flats work? Okay? So here we go. So we have to get rid of this key signature first. So what do? We type K for key signature and we go to C major. C major just means no key signature. All right, we're gonna get rid of it. No. And then just click right where it is. And Sibelius does it automatically for you. See, it cancels everything, the bar before. So you actually, and it creates a double bar line for you. This is all automatic. Back in my days, analog days, this is all done by hand. And no wonder my teacher was doing this for like 40 years ahead of me. Like he has like tendonitis, he's like all messed up here because writing music is very, very tedious on the muscles. Okay, so let's take a look at the flat. Why don't you guys pick out a note so we can start as a flat? Something flat. Or we can just do F. F is gonna give you a flat for sure. Just letting you know. But B we could start on B flat. How's that? Sound good? Are you guys frozen or are you guys, I can't see, like, you guys look all frozen to me. Or is it my computer?
No, I mean, I think we're here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now you guys are moving. Okay, I see some reactions. Good. All right, yeah, give me some reactions because I can't see whether you guys are moving or not. So let me know if I'm going too fast, okay? So we have a C flat. Well, Nathan, that's very ambitious. I would do that, except it defeats the purpose. You just flat everything, and it kind of defeats the purpose of having to kind of hunt down all the accidentals. So my suggestion is let's do a B flat major together. All right, we're gonna start with B flat, the note B flat. And I'm gonna do it right here. So same thing, you're gonna click. Don't do this. All right, we're doing B flat, flat major in accidentals. Here we go. This is actually going to be required in your midterm and finals. Okay, so does that sound like a major scale? No, that's the only right answer by now. So this is a whole tone, so that's good. So that's good. No, that has to be a half tone, so half step. What do we do?
Flat it.
Flat the E, thank you. That's what we expect. Yes, whole step. Whole step. That's a whole step, that's good. Whoa, that sounds wrong. What's going on here? This has to be a half step. So we have to flat this, okay? So now we have absolutely correct. Brilliant, you guys. And how about the descending? Same thing, right? We're gonna have, you can just type this in. Sorry. Let me just do this. At B flat. Okay, this is what I prefer you to do as opposed to doing it by visual, line space, line space. After a while, I'd like you to go straight to the keyboard and be able to click a major scale in. You're required to know major scales, spelling in accidentals, and key signatures up to 2 flats and 2 sharps for your exams. So here is B flat. We're doing it descending now. So there it is. You're fancy enough, you can put a little slur for everybody so they know they're in one phrase to indicate here's ascending in one phrase, here's descending in another phrase. This is just a type S for slurs. You don't have to do that. This is fancy stuff that I like to do to make my score look pretty and professional. Okay? So we have B flat major in accidentals. How many flats and sharps is there? No sharps, sorry. How many flats?
2 flats.
2 flats. Brilliant. So if this were to be key signature, copy it right here in key signature. We're gonna go to type letter K for key signature, and we're gonna pick B flat major. You guys are right, it's 2 flats, and you just click it in, look. So now you have it in key signature. And unless you cancel, you say, I'm getting weird, I'm gonna cancel this. And it sounds weird. It doesn't sound weird to me, but you know, some people might find it weird. Okay, so there, unless you cancel it, its application is global. Key signatures application is global. Accidentals application is only within the bar it lives in. So this is it. This is what I expect you to practice this week in major scale. Oh, we have a hand up.
Hi, Professor.
Ryan.
I think Chad wrote this in the chat, but I was wondering if you could share the PDF with us, because sometimes like I found it a little bit difficult to copy the score. So would it be possible to share the PDF with us as our reference?
Oh, you mean the class video? Oh, sure.
No, you know the thing that the class video, the score from the class video. So like if whatever, like, you know, the PDF was in the end, if you could put that on Blackboard for us, please?
Okay, yeah, I can do that. That's
Thank
pretty
you.
quick. And since we're at it, maybe I'll just do it in front of you because some of you are saying, I don't know how to save it as PDF. Am I right? All right, so we'll try to do it together. Okay, so how do we do this? We just go to this tab called File right here. So you have all of you have this, okay? And then you can say Export as PDF, or if I mean you can do this. This is kind of pretty. See, export PDF, and then it exports. So the way I do it, which is even faster, is I go Command P for print. And then because I like to control the outcome, I want to see it before I print. So this is what I do on a Mac. Okay, I think PC might be different. You guys have to figure it out. And then you can add all these fancy stuff. You can add a date and foot timer. So this is, file name? We don't have a file name here. It's untitled so far. That's weird. Okay. And then you can add a border. That's really weird. Crop marks, that's even more weird. And then you go to use the OS dialog. That's what I do. Because now I see what I'm going to be printing out on the PDF. So then this pops up. And this is default setting, that's correct. This is the right paper size. And then I go here and I go save as PDF. And then I go save it to the desktop and I say, this is Music 1400 Lecture 5 class PDF or something. Yeah, there you go. Right? And then I go to my desktop. And then I find it and just check to see. So this is, it's like whatever you see in that big window is what you're going to get. All right? So this is how I do it. Is this too fast? Is this good? You guys have this on video. This whole thing is being recorded. Good. Okay. Before I forget, I'm going to put this in the video chat for you guys. Ooh, wait. Video chat. I mean, Zoom chat. Yes, Zoom chat. Stop share. Bring you guys back to my big screen. Well, hello. This is much better than the small little things on the side. Okay. So,
Professor, would you also be able to put the music that we were listening to in the beginning of class on Blackboard?
Oh, Ryan, you're like 2 steps ahead of me.
Okay.
I'm just about to impress all of you with this piece that I had a nightmare learning. Okay, when I was younger. What does all this mean? This is like such raw ingredient, right? It's unrecognizable as music. So now we're getting out of the theoretical world into like, what does a major scale actually sounds like in real music? Okay, and the first person who really internalized this particular system on the keyboard was Johann Sebastian Bach. He wrote these albums that we often regard as sort of the Bible. Okay, and Mozart and when he was alive, when Bach was Papa Bach, I'm not talking about the sons. Okay, I'm talking about the dad. We call him Papa Bach. That's Johann Sebastian Bach. The Bach family were all musicians. Okay, so Papa Bach wrote these 2 books, and for some people, this has elevated to like this level of like divine. Like these pieces are so perfect. You can't take out one note. You take out one note and it falls apart. It's that clean. So I'm very happy to share this with you, and I would encourage you to look into, at least this is sort of the beginning of where this whole sound a sensibility that you're familiar with today. That's how it kind of started to form its internal infrastructure. Okay, and the composer who wrote such a large body of work for this particular tuning system that we all rely on today for Western classical music, this so-called equal temperament, this division of an octave into 12. That's what we live on these days. Okay, it's like the oxygen we breathe, right? Was Papa Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach. Okay, and this piece I have to share with you because I was like dying. Okay, when I was learning this piece, and I still like I still sweat when I look at this piece from like I'm sure like PTSD, like learning this piece with all these sharps and flats, right? So here is I'm gonna share a screen with you guys. Here is what this album, book 2. There are 2 books. And this is book 2. All right, just take a look at. Let me make this slightly smaller for you guys. So, the well-tempered clavier. This is book 2. Where is book 2? This is very disturbing. Where is book 2? Well, this is book 2. Trust me. It's not saying it's book 2. It's probably being deleted by this public domain copy. But this is book 2 because book 1 does not look like this. Okay, so look at it. He goes through all the 12 keys, all the 12 notes. First, going from C major. This is C major. Can you guys see? E. Okay. He goes from C major. The second one is C minor. C sharp major. Look at this. It's all sharps. Okay, 7 sharps. And then C sharp minor, D major, D minor, E flat major, and of course, there's no E flat minor, right? So what do we have? We have the D sharp minor right here. Okay? So on, so forth. So what I wanted to show you guys, I've actually played this piece for you before. I don't know if you guys remember. I love this piece. But we're gonna go for my nightmare piece. It's very humbling. Whoa, look, double sharp, double sharp. Okay, who wants to hear this? You're watching this 7 sharps unfolding. Okay, so I actually have to do a new share because I found the video actually shows you like the score as well as the pianist who's playing it. I thought it was pretty brilliant, this video. So it's certainly better than like watching me play it because you can't really see much here. Hold on, where is that tab? Let me bring it up. Here we go. So this, remember the piece I played in the beginning of the class? This is the piece. So the fugue follows. So we don't have time today. I'm trying to wrap up everything by 6:30 today, so you guys have time to watch the second part of the lecture. But what's really important to keep in mind for scales is this. The scales, you might think of it as giving the flavor. It's almost like an emotional flavor of a piece. Okay, and it could be very, very subtle. Sometimes, there are certain emotions that major keys are particularly good at providing. And then there's this unspoken in terms of the key signature we talk about in this album, Book 2. It's just referred to in my business as Book 2. That's how quintessential they are. Book 2. You say Book 2 to a pianist, they know what you're talking about. Okay? So like I said, I don't care how you're gonna acquire it. It's in public domain, and like just even looking at it is a beautiful experience. It's this thick, and you can listen to it. Some people swear that they just wake up in the morning, they just put on one of them, and it cleanses their soul. I actually talked to this bartender. He's pretty serious about his Bach, and this seems like a returning theme for a lot of people who are tuned into this album. It's sort of timeless thing. Okay, so another kind of unspoken thing, and just because you guys are my students and I'm telling you this, and it's unspoken because some people regard this as opinions. But I hope all of you develop opinions of your own, especially for the taste, for your musical taste. It does come down to your own opinion, and tastes are very different for each music listener. So the unspoken thing about this album, including Book 1, is that the more key signature, the more sharps and flats, somehow the music is more beautiful. In the prelude, that is. Think about it. I can't wrap my head around this because when I wrote in lots of sharps and flat, like my brain is basically on fire. Like I don't know. I don't know how it's almost like, haha, you see, like I am an, Olympic, I'm doing the brain Olympics, with, I don't even have to breathe, and look at all of you mundane, people down there. You would, 6 flats and 6 sharps, your brain is already on fire, and I can write such beautiful music with all the sharps and flats and double sharps. It literally is, and if you have time to dig into it, and I highly recommend, it's a once in a lifetime experience to do this for your first time. I'm very, very jealous. You guys actually get to do this for the first time in your life, and like compare the ones with simpler key signatures, and then compare it to the ones with a lot of sharps and flats. They sound different to me. Okay, my ear picks out the aesthetic elevation in the ones with lots of sharps and lots of colors, sharps and flats. The colors change, and it's just incredibly nuanced. And every decade I return to these albums, these pieces, I learn something new about myself, and that's saying a lot. I've been living with these pieces for nearly 40 years. And when I return to these pieces, I still learn something every time. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is this phenomenon in key signature called transposition. You only need to know about it in concept because you already did it. Remember, we built these scales, the major scales in the Sibelius, that they all seem to follow the same rule. So so the same scale, if you shift it, okay, you might not pick it out that they've shifted, but in the hands of a skilled composer who can make a joke about it, it's very obvious that it has shifted, okay? So I'll demonstrate. So if we have a B major scale, any random note. The position, the frequency changed, but the flavor pretty much is the same, right? So that's called transposition. It's the same combination, okay? Combination, like the combination of the interval that we're talking about, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. This combination is the same. So if you pick any note, you're expected to produce a similar flavor, same flavor in the scale. Okay, and so the famous piece in the repertoire, again, you guys get to hear this for the first time, but I think some of you already heard this in some context, I think. Where is it? Here we go. Okay. So this is the piece that this whole album came out of, okay? You guys, let me know if you've heard this before. Yeah, so the swan, right? This is, a lot of people claim that they can play it on the piano, which is true. That's true. And in the same collection of pieces, it's the piece, the entire piece is called The Carnival of the Animals. And here's one movement. Here's one section of it that the composer called the pianists. In parentheses, the pianists who are practicing scales and thirds in their basement, they're like animals. You get it? It's a joke. It's a joke. He's like making fun of the pianists who are always practicing scales. So there's only one performance on YouTube that I found who actually played the way that the composer intended, which was to make it a joke out of it. So the two pianos are out of sync. But that is kind of defeats the purpose of what we are trying to learn here, which is transposition. Okay, it's a very short movement, and I'm going to play it, and then we can take questions and break. Let's see, where is pianists? Right here. All right, here we go. Here's your C major. Here's your D flat major. There we go. You guys hear it? They're intentionally playing it wrong. Here's your E flat major. Back to C major. And on the suspense. And it continues. What key is this in? This movement called fossils. Okay, that's unfair. That's a minor key, but still. What key is this? Ah, how about this? The last movement, all the animals come back. What key is this? That's a C major. Ask me next time how I know.
I actually said that in the chat.
This is C minor. Back to C major. Judy, everybody. Ooh. We've gone really far from C major. Now we're back to C major. We're about to tonic. Tonic. Carnival of the Animals. Okay, so look at what I'm doing. I'm putting these in the chat right now for you guys, okay? Yeah? Everyone in the meeting. Here we go. Everyone in the meeting. Here's, and have fun with it. It's actually, it puts a smile on my face for sure. All right. Here's the very, very fast video of the major scale. I much prefer if you just watch my video. And here's the Bach piece, and the entire book 2 is in his playlist. Is there anything else I didn't play today? I think that's it. Okay, and so you guys, I'm gonna put another link in the chat for you. This is sort of an online thing. You can do most of these reviews online, and this is a really good tool. It's only $3 if you want to buy it, but these are also learning tools you can find online. The one that I just put in the chat is a pretty good one. And you can practice right in your web browser if you want. Questions? And then I have to go. The second half of the lecture video. Here, it's coming. It is called Learning Scales with Sibelius. And it's major scale. Learning scales, major scale. Here we go. Yes, very good. And share, copy. Here we go. The last link is the second half of the lecture. So homework is the same. You just follow. And in other words, you can also just continue that document that you have been learning, notes, interval. You can continue that document. You don't have to start a new document every time. Okay, this way it's easier for Shane to track your progress. Does that make sense?
So you want us to print out just the pages that on that document that we did for homework for that week, or the whole document?
I would say at this point, because we had a Blackboard issue, that Shane was added later, so he couldn't grade your first assignment. I would say at this point, just print out everything in one PDF. for the next one. And Shane is going to create that Blackboard assignment entry, not me. He seems to think there's a thing that I did that was kind of not very kosher, and so that he couldn't see your assignments. So I'm gonna leave him I'm gonna let him do it this time for this assignment.
We have
Okay.
just had, sorry, we've had 4 homework assignments, yeah? Or
No, there's only 3 that I know of.
3? 3, including, and the one that we're about to do is the 4th? Or the 3rd?
3rd.
3rd, okay, great, amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Okay, I thought I was
and
just
keeping
like-
Yeah, and keep in mind, and as a reminder for the midterm review, we're gonna do all of that in one document. Anyway, like I said, we're gonna go through it again, until you guys are, going through the drill comfortably for your finals. The midterm is just my check-in to see where you guys are. Okay, it's not intended to give you guys a hard time and sleepless nights, and it's just a check-in.
And that's in 2 weeks, right?
That is, end of October. Yeah. Okay. Nice
As long
to
I
see
don't
you
get
all.
fine. I think I'm gonna fail.
IK, if you're
my
saying
computer.
something, we cannot hear you. Uh-oh. I think we lost her. Okay, you guys, have a great week, and I will see you next week.
Wait,
Bye for now.
professor? Oh.